Florida's eviction moratorium is over, but some landlords are still feeling the effects from it. It was intended to protect tenants from homelessness during the pandemic, but some landlords say that now means they'll never rent again. Others tell us they will have to raise rents to compensate for the lost income. Fox 29's Tori Dunnan has more on the ripple effect.
My hands were literally tied.
Jennifer Fearman lives in California now, but rents out her old place in South Florida.
It just made sense to keep the property because it was easy, right? Like he was paying rent and it was great. When COVID hit, the rent payments started getting kind of spotty.
She was frustrated by the lack of recourse when her tenant stopped paying rent.
I found it to be mind-blowing that there was literally nothing that I could do. And that's my takeaway from the whole experience.
As soon as the moratorium was lifted, Fearman says she was able to move forward with an eviction.
I didn't go into this saying I'm going to invest in real estate and be a big bad landlord. It's like I own a piece of property and I need to pay for it. And yeah, I mean, it was a stretch for me because I was still on the hook to pay my mortgage, even though my tenant wasn't paying their rent.
A Boca homeowner says he can only describe being a landlord during the pandemic using one word: terrible. He says he's out nearly $30,000 because of the moratorium.
We got burnt.
Ron Frontero says he lost nearly $30,000 in rent, plus about $30,000 more in damages.
It was rough because they took away the right to evict. There was nothing we could do. We had no leverage.
He says he's lucky he didn't have a mortgage, but will not recoup the money lost.
I always paid my bills, and I expected people to pay their bills. And when you're giving somebody a free pass and they don't have to pay bills, I don't think that's fair.
Tayson Gaines is a real estate attorney. He practices real estate litigation, including landlord-tenant disputes.
Overall, I think we've had a decent amount of sympathy and understanding for the tenants and not wanting to throw them out. But I think there is some lost light on the owners.
He says much of the financial assistance for renters is also gone, making the situation even harder for landlords.
I'm starting to see that the rubber's starting to hit the road.
Property values have gone up and costs are being passed down to renters who are being priced out of housing. But landlords rely on that rental income to, for instance, pay for their child's college tuition.
A lot of landlords are, feeling it because there's not really much empathy out there. The humanitarian side, as far as the landlords, is lost.
Jennifer says she'll up the rent now to market value.
Up until this incident with my current tenant, I had not raised rent and I hadn't planned on raising the rent, though I do have trepidation about letting someone else live in the apartment.
And in Ron's case, it's game over when it comes to being a landlord.
I'm not in the rental game anymore.
Tori Dunnan, Fox 29.